In our very first story, the Meteorological Agency has denied claims it did not forecast on time the torrential rains that nearly marred the 57th Independence Anniversary celebration Thursday. The rain started around 8:30 a.m. and drenched the men and women of the security services throughout the parade. Overwhelmed by the showers, the president, in his Independence Anniversary address, said they had received warning of the showers too late in the morning to take any action. The torrential rain started moments after President Mahama began inspecting the parade. It forced the cancellation of some of the activities that were lined up for the day. Although the president defied the heavy rain to light the perpetual flame, school children who were to undertake the march past had to abandon the parade grounds for shelter. President John Mahama charged the Meteorological Service to sharpen its ability to be able to better predict the behavior of the weather. A weather officer at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Richard Ajiman, however, told Joy News' Elton John Brobe the president's assertions are baseless. According to him, the agency had informed NADMO of the rains about a week ago, and at 3 a.m. Thursday, the service also again notified the country that the weather will be variably cloudy and sunny over southern Ghana with isolated rains.
Well, very few would disagree with President Mahama when he says the 57th Independence Day Parade will go down as one of the most eventful ever. Otherwise, who could have imagined that the first gentleman of the land being drenched in rain in the full glare of the public, along with hundreds of school children who were dreading the heat only to take a beating from the rain? Yeah, Foswa Fee has more on the Independence Day Parade, which caught organizers flat-footed.
Organizers of this year's national celebration of the country's 57th Independence Day Parade may have heaved a sigh of relief when the day started not with the high temperatures that characterized previous anniversary parades, but with overcast skies. It meant they no longer had to worry about heat stroke, dehydration, and the usual pangs. There, however, were at least a few whose stamina let them down, despite fairly tolerable temperatures. But paramedics from the Ghana Ambulance Service were equal to the task. And those who had fallen off were attended to with few first aid, with the more serious cases taken care of by the Ghana Police Service mobile clinic. But there was more to come, probably the least anticipated phenomenon for the day. After a rather uncomfortable long wait, pupils from the New Horizon Special School were among the first to be evacuated from the parade grounds as the weather was getting too cold for their feeble bodies.
There is nothing we can do here. So come, bring it.
Then pupils from other schools were made to follow suit. There were not enough blankets to go around though, and most of them had to endure the cold.
We don't have much, we have about 20, 25. But usually we have about 70 to 80 during the rehearsals. But I think today the weather is very cool for them, and I think we don't have much casualty as compared to the rehearsals periods.
But typical of children though, many saw it as an opportunity to have fun, oblivious of what effects they would subsequently have to deal with.
I'm feeling fine, just I'm I'm shaking. I'm feeling cold. I'll always come whenever I'm being called to come and march.
Parents whose ward will still be reeling from the effects of the weather, meanwhile, have been asked to send them to the hospital. Yafusia Jimfi, Joy News, Independence Square, Accra.
Well, meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama has charged Ghanaians to promote Made in Ghana brands in order to foster deeper patriotism and nationality amongst the citizenry. Speaking at the 57th Independence Day celebration, President Mahama said the only way Ghana can promote its own brand of products was to stop importing virtually everything from outside the country.
President John Mahama noted that aside wearing Made in Ghana clothing every Fridays, there was the need to extend such patriotism to all Ghanaian products.
Just as we purchase products that are proudly Italian, proudly Chinese, proudly Turkish, or proudly South African, there is no reason why we cannot manufacture goods that are proudly Ghanaian. If we are to be truly independent, we cannot allow our destiny to be determined by corporations, industries, or individuals who exist beyond our national borders. And that is precisely what we are doing when the majority of what we consume comes from outside.
The president added that supporting Made in Ghana products will greatly help strengthen the economy.
With every piece of clothing we wear, with every item of food we prepare for our meals, with every single thing we use, let us ask ourselves, how much of this is made in Ghana? And even important, if it was not made in Ghana, let's ask ourselves, could it have been made in Ghana? But if you ask yourself, could it have been made in Ghana? And the answer is yes. Then for the love of this country, our country, start thinking of ways in which we can transform our society and our economy by making it happen.
The president also stated that the gap between the rich and the poor must be bridged to ensure equality among all Ghanaians. According to him, every child in the country must have access to quality education.
Young people must be afforded the skills needed in order to find gainful employment. Proper health care must be available to all our people. These are not just nice statements to stand here and say. These are goals, realistic goals that we must strive every day to meet. Our people's lives depend on it. Ghana's future depends on it.
The president also assured Ghanaians that his government will ensure the ideals of the founding fathers of the country are followed to the letter by providing the basic necessities to build a decent life for every citizen. This year's Independence Day celebration is on the theme, building a better and prosperous Ghana through patriotism and national unity.
And the Dampo at the Independence Square brought misery to not only the organizers but dignitaries and marching contingents as traders and other vendors also took quite a hit. The anticipated business boom turned out to be gloom, and not everyone though was to blame for the rain or blamed their lack of business on the rain. Reporter Emmanuel has been engaged some traders on Independence Parade business.
The usual business forecast indicated some good trading would take place, considering the number of people who normally troop to the Independence Square to witness activities. And for the food vendors, photographers and Independence paraphernalia dealers, business was quite good until the dark clouds began to pour rain. Apparently, the one forecast they failed to consider in their planning. This lady lamented how the loan she had taken to turn around on Independence Day could land her in debt now. Samuel Abe's horse, though ready to offer rights and make his master some good money, has largely been enjoying the Independence holiday.
Maybe the rain that we can't work out, so we are trying to work. So
how much have you made so far today?
Oh, 10 cities.
How much is a ride if you take a ride around?
It's 1 city.
Okay. So it means you've only had about 10 people to ride it?
Yes.
Kwabena Efa, a photographer, told Joy News with few smiles to capture, he is ruined.
Rain has spoiled everything, but it's not rain, Yanka. The time on God, cashew, snap something, but everything is big like this.
Though the rains played key role, there were those who also attributed the poor sales to the current economic storm the country is caught up in. It wasn't all gloom though, as these food vendors were quite satisfied with their sales, even though they say it could have been better.
In spite of the rain in our business, and so far, how much have you made so far? Is your note or any BBI who compare this year to last year? No, near in
oh, this year and last year, dear. Last year, you thought this year. I was for no move to me to a dear.
Didn't you?
I say,
the general vibe and the body language we are picking from traders here indicates that this year's business has been very, very slow as compared to last year. And it's all being blamed on the downpour this morning. Emmanuel, reporting for Joy News.
Well, the rains notwithstanding, the 57th Independence Anniversary Parade came off, albeit under very soggy conditions.
Some of the drenched students who seem to have been infected by the energy of the special forces sang along. Probably it was their way of keeping warm in view of the chilly weather at the square. It started out as a normal day at the Independence Square in Accra, save it was a wee bit cloudy. Students from first and second cycle institutions, as well as men and women from the security services, were poised to participate in the 57th Independence Anniversary Parade. So is it a big deal being part of the parade this morning?
Of course it is. It is.
Why is it a big deal?
Because it's an experience we are now going through for once. Now that we are here, we want to showcase what we have.
It's my first time here, and then during the training and all those stuff, it's hectic. We don't get to go to classes, so we have to do our best to show that our missing classes is not in vain.
Then came the order for the contingent to get ready for the parade. With the contingent lined up on the square, President Mahama arrives. As the president, the reviewing officer for the parade, got ready to inspect the parade, the winds grew stronger.
It's a very cloudy, and it just started raining at Independence Square, where we are expecting President Mahama to start inspecting the contingent on the parade ground.
A rain-drenched President Mahama relocated from the presidential days for the parade to continue, though not as originally planned. The basic and second cycle school children had to march off the parade grounds, while the special forces units of the police, Air Force, Navy and Army marched rushed past the presidential days emptied of the commander-in-chief who would usually be taking their salute. So after about an hour and a half of rains here at the Independence Square, this is what was left behind. Canopies blown out of place, chairs given to the dignitaries left unattended to because the dignitaries could no longer even sit themselves. The Navy appears to be the last contingent that took part in the parade that is about to leave the parade grounds. But of course, the parade grounds was almost deserted by the time the rain ended. But the gallant men of the armed forces of Ghana, including their sister security agencies, stood their grounds here for an hour and a half in the rains just to pay their respects to the country as we celebrate the 57th independence anniversary. The other men and women of the security services, however, stood in the rain till the whole parade came to an end. For this officer with the Ghana Air Force, this year's parade will be a memorable one.
We have some oath we swear, and then when we are swearing, there are a whole lot of things we say, and this is just one of those things.
From all indications, this will be one independence anniversary that will be remembered by many, of course, for the rains that nearly marred the anniversary. From the Independence Square in Accra, Nia Kofi Smatabe for Joy News.
You saw that very Air Force officer talking about swearing. One personality, though, who always will be swearing for the next couple of hours, if not days, is the Paramount Chief of Tamale, Bupe Na Al-Hassan Abdullahi. And he and his sub-chiefs have vowed to henceforth boycott all government functions till the Northern Region Coordinating Council renders an unqualified apology for disrespecting them. Well, this was after the chiefs were frustrated from entering the Jubilee Park in Tamale for the Northern Region's Independence Day anniversary celebration event.
According to spokesperson for the chiefs, Alhaji Latif Sahana, they were denied entry because the security men said they were late. He said they were then asked to use another entrance. The paramount chief was expected to join the regional minister to take the salute from the school children on the parade ground, and yet could not convince the security men to grant them access despite their pleas.
Right at the entrance here, there's supposed to be some markers so there are no vehicle parks there. So before we left, there was traffic right from the Jubilee Junction up to the palace. So, and there was no escort for us. So before we meandered through the traffic to get to the field, it was about, we were there about 10 minutes late. 10 minutes late. But the security men that were on the parade ground said they wouldn't allow us to enter. So if we could use an alternative route that was about just some 90 degrees of the field, was it 120 degrees of the field. So I told them that why don't they allow the chief, the Chona and some others to just go, they will alight and the vehicles will go and pass. He said no.
The traditional leaders were at some point advised to disembark from their vehicles and walk to the parade grounds, but they declined and boycotted the event altogether. The spokesperson says the chiefs later on converged at a meeting where the decision was taken to extend their boycott to all other government functions until an apology is rendered.
The Regional Coordinating Council, the Metro Assembly, for that matter, the security agencies do not want to see the chief at any of their occasions. So we have resolved that we will never attend any meeting or any function organized by the Regional Coordinating Council and the Metropolitan Assembly. And they have to apologize. They must apologize.
Hashmin Mohammed's report.
Well, back in Accra, the acting chief executive of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Nana Kwame Ofori Amanfo, has debunked assertions that fairs organized by the company have lost their relevance, thus the low patronage they enjoy from the public. According to him, the fair is to afford businesses the opportunity to network and exchange business ideas and not necessarily sell.
The Ghana International Trade Fair project, conceived by government in the 1960s, was a direct response to the massive industrialization and infrastructural development projects embarked on by government after the attainment of independence. The project, which birthed the International Trade Fair, has over the years drawn hundreds of people from all walks of life to patronize made-in-Ghana goods. Many, however, for several reasons, have in recent years lost interest in the fair.
In those days, we talk about trade fair. It's a place you love to go shopping or even do window shopping or take the family and friends along. But these days, the place is not nice. Sometimes the price in the trade fair is higher than in town. If you go to Okaishi or Makola, things are cheaper compared to the trade fair. That's how I see it.
People are moving from Accra to other places like Amasaman, Kasua, and then because that place, the area, utilities are less. The expenses are less. The expenses on utilities are less. So I think it should be located in different areas, not necessarily trade fair. I mean, I personally live at Kasua, and it would be very difficult for me to come all the way from Kasua to trade fair to shop. That's why I wouldn't waste time and come there.
But for the company in charge, the trade fair has rather grown bigger, and the idea behind it has metamorphosed with changing trends.
We were living in a state of scarcity. Things were difficult to come by, avenues were not there, so people were looking out for trade fairs when trade fairs come, so that people will troop in and buy whatever they need, their household items. Ghana has moved from that stage because wherever you are, you have access to all these facilities, all these amenities. That is what we're trying to educate the people, that we organize the fairs not as a sales program, not a consumer fair, but it's a promotion of business. We are forming new alliances, face-to-face discussions, B2B meetings, establish contacts, establish joint ventures. That is the main purpose of exhibition. So even though you come, that you see that people are not there in their thousands as they used to be, and yet business is taking place.
He added they will organize fairs for Ghanaians seeking to enjoy discounts on goods. Nana Kwame Oforiaman Fominho says the ongoing 18th Ghana International Trade Fair is to enable Ghana showcase and promote exportable products and services with a view of attracting investors. Abigail Adamakunchi for Joy News.
Fire has gutted part of the boys' dormitory of the Laura Senior High School at Laura in the Upper West region. The fire, suspected to have been caused by an electrical fault whilst the students were at prep, destroyed property worth thousands of Ghana cedis. A report by Rafiq Salam from Wa.
The fire started around 8:15 p.m. when the students were attending night prep. Upon hearing the news, the students rushed to the scene but could not save the situation. The students lost all their belongings. Items destroyed included mattresses, beds, chop boxes, personal belongings and educational materials. Personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service were able to douse the fire after close to 3 hours. The headmaster of the school, E.K. Puviel, said the school will find a way to assist the affected students.
Surplus uniform in the stores, and that is what we have readily mobilized to give to them. We have also acquired some textbooks, exercise books and notebooks to help them at least copy their notes.
Meanwhile, the Laura District Director of Education, in the company of some district officials, have visited the school to assess the extent of damage caused by the fire. The fire service say they will investigate the cause of the fire, but hinted it might be as a result of an electrical fault.
Almost everything in one unit were destroyed, so they protected the fire from spreading to the other side. So that is what actually happened. This morning we went back to the place to do an investigation. We were able to prevent the other building from burning.
Rafiq Salam's report from Laura in the Upper West region.
Well, a very sad event. The fire raging the boys' dormitory of the Laura Senior High School there.
Yeah.
And, well, that brings us to the end of the news update we have for you. This very anniversary edition of the AM show live on the Joy News channel of Multi TV. Now, our top headlines for the morning.
Meteorological Agency has denied claims it did not forecast on time the torrential rains that nearly marred our 57th Independence Anniversary Day celebration here in the capital.
Meanwhile, in Tamale, in the northern region, paramount chief of the area and the sub-chiefs vowed to boycott all government functions, and this was after they were prevented from entering the event ground where we had the 57th Independence Anniversary being convened.
And as you just saw, the fire has gutted parts of the boys' dormitory of the Laura Senior High School in the Upper West region. That's it for the AM News. We'll come up with a spot shortly, and it's brought to you by Tigo and Calville. Just stay with us.
We'll be right back.